Tonight, we have a clearer picture of what happened from video footage filmed by bystanders and verified. It shows two gunmen firing indiscriminately from a small bridge towards a park and beach area. One of the men then leaves but keeps firing. As the violence continues, a bystander tackles the gunman, grabbing his weapon. He's now been hailed a hero and named locally as Ahmed al-Ahmed. Other bystanders step in.
Horror on Bondi, an unimaginable scene on Australia's most famous beach. People running, but from what? At this point, few understood what was unfolding.
I went to the window and I just saw a guy in a white car on top of it, letting off shots going off. And then there was an older lady who was on the right-hand side of the pathway who was put down.
Sunshine, laughter, celebration, then gunfire ripped through it all. Bondi Beach, a place known worldwide for calm waves and carefree weekends, became the site of Australia's deadliest mass shooting in nearly 3 decades. What began as a joyful Hanukkah gathering turned into chaos, panic, and unimaginable loss. 15 people were killed, dozens more were wounded, families were torn apart in minutes. And as investigators pieced together what happened, one revelation stunned the country and the world alike. The attackers were not strangers acting alone, they were father and son. Tonight, we break down exactly what happened, how it unfolded, and why this attack has shaken Australia to its core.
After a long standoff with police, the father was shot dead. His son, seriously injured. He's been named by local media as 24-year-old Naveed Akram from Bonnyrigg in Sydney's southwest. The weapons used in the shooting were licensed to the older gunman.
This attack stands as Australia's worst mass shooting in almost 30 years, a grim milestone for a country known for strict gun laws and low levels of gun violence. 15 people were killed during the assault, including a 10-year-old child, while around 40 others were rushed to hospitals with serious injuries. Many victims were ordinary families enjoying a public holiday event, completely unprepared for the violence on this scale. Emergency services were overwhelmed in minutes, transforming a peaceful beachfront area into a triage zone. For Australians, this wasn't just another headline, it was a rupture in the nation's sense of safety, proving that even places long considered immune are not untouchable. And if the death toll shocked the nation, the location made it even harder to process. The shooting took place during a Hanukkah celebration, attended by nearly 1,000 people gathered in a small park overlooking Bondi Beach. Children played nearby, elderly couples sat together, families celebrated the Festival of Lights, a moment meant to symbolise hope and resilience. Instead, gunfire erupted without warning. Police later confirmed the timing and target were intentional, not coincidental. Authorities officially classified the attack as terrorism, stating it was driven by antisemitic hatred. This detail shifted the story from a domestic tragedy to an international concern, raising alarms across Jewish communities worldwide, already facing increased threats and hostility. But the horror deepened when investigators identified who carried out the attack. Police confirmed the two gunmen were father and son, a revelation that stunned even seasoned investigators. The father was shot dead by police after a tense standoff. The son, just 24 years old, was critically injured and remains under armed guard in the hospital. The family connection raised disturbing questions about radicalization within private spaces and how extremist beliefs can be nurtured behind closed doors. This wasn't a lone actor operating in isolation. It was a coordinated act between two people bound by blood, trust, and shared ideology, making the crime psychologically unsettling for a nation struggling to understand how such violence was born.
These are confronting scenes in a country that prides itself on its low rates of violent crime. A sunny Sunday at the beach turned into a nightmare. Local Bondi residents desperately trying to save people's lives. Victims as young as 10, as old as 87.
Then came a detail that reignited an already sensitive national debate. Authorities confirmed the weapons used in the attack were legally owned and properly licensed. 6 firearms were recovered, all registered to the older gunman. Police stated there had been no prior incidents, no revoked licenses, and no immediate warning signs in official records. This disclosure sent shockwaves through Australia, reopening intense debates over gun control, background monitoring, and whether existing safeguards are enough. The case exposed a hard truth. Legality does not always equal safety. For many Australians, this fact challenged long-held assumptions about gun control being a complete shield from mass violence.
Most people ran when the shots rang out. This man didn't, and he's been hailed a hero. Named locally as Ahmed Al-Ahmed, he made the brave decision to pounce on the gunman from behind, wrestling the weapon off him and making it clear to police he had nothing to do with the 2 men. Then, another bystander, showing his fury at what had just happened.
But guns were only the part of the threat that day. During the investigation, police discovered 2 active improvised explosive devices, including one inside a vehicle connected to the attackers. Bomb disposal units were deployed immediately, shutting down surrounding areas as specialists worked to neutralise the devices. Police later confirmed the explosives were live and capable of causing further casualties. This revelation reframed the attack as a broader terror operation rather than a single act of gun violence. The presence of explosives suggested planning, intent, and a willingness to escalate destruction. It also raised fears about what could have happened had police not intervened as quickly as they did. Amid the terror, one moment cut through the darkness.
This is the earliest footage we have of the gunmen. It's not clear how soon after the attack started they began filming, but it captures the rest of the event. It takes place on Campbell Parade at the northern end of Bondi Beach. Both men are standing on this bridge, firing down into this area of parkland where the Hanukkah festival was taking place. About 30 seconds after this footage starts, one of the men, the one in white trousers, moves off the bridge to take up a position around here, from where he can fire at point-blank range at the crowds. 2 minutes and 50 seconds after the video begins, we have the extraordinary moment when a passerby decides to tackle him.
Oh!
He disarms him and gets him to back off, before eventually laying down the weapon and taking cover behind the tree. 60 seconds after he was disarmed, the man in white trousers is back on the bridge and firing with a different weapon. We then see the moment, 30 seconds after that, when he is shot. The second man, the one in black trousers, continues firing in both directions for another minute and a half before he too is shot.
Yeah, they got him.
At this point, we see a couple of people who appear to be members of the public approach them. Another shot is then fired. It's not clear where from, but it seems to be aimed at the man who has just arrived. You hear the person filming shout, "Wow, stop, no, stop!" presumably concerned someone who was trying to help, may be confused as an attacker. Eventually, 7.5 minutes after this footage began, police make it onto the bridge, where they find one attacker dead and another critically wounded.
As crowds fled in panic, one bystander made a split-second decision that likely saved lives. Identified locally as Ahmed Al-Ahmed, the man ran toward the danger, tackling one of the gunmen from behind and wrestling away his weapon. Unarmed and exposed, he acted purely on instinct. Police later praised his bravery, and witnesses described his actions as heroic. In a moment where fear ruled, his courage stood out. While tragedy dominated the day, this act reminded many that individual bravery can still disrupt even the most calculated violence. But heroism could not erase the human cost. Victims ranged in age from 10 to 87, underscoring how indiscriminate the attack truly was. Among those killed was Rabbi Eli Schlangenger, a London-born father of 5 and a respected leader in the Jewish community. Friends and family described him as compassionate, energetic, and deeply committed to helping others. His death resonated far beyond Australia, sparking vigils and memorials internationally. For many, his loss symbolised the broader impact of rising anti-Semitic violence, targeting not just individuals, but the heart of communities built on faith, family, and service. Global leaders took notice almost immediately. Condemnation poured in from around the world within hours. Leaders described the attack as a sickening act of anti-Semitic terrorism. Governments increased police patrols around synagogues and Jewish neighborhoods as Hanukkah celebrations continued under heightened security. Public statements emphasized solidarity with victims and zero tolerance for hate-driven violence. The international response highlighted how this attack transcended national borders, touching a nerve globally. It reinforced growing concerns about coordinated extremist ideologies spreading across countries, even those historically considered stable and secure. Still, no reaction mattered more than the one at home. Bondi Beach is more than a tourist destination. It's part of Australia's cultural identity. Known for safety, openness, and laid-back living, the area was transformed overnight into a scene of grief. Flowers replaced beach towels, police tape replaced foot traffic. Schools nearby closed as residents struggled to comprehend what had happened. Many locals described a sense of disbelief, saying the attack shattered their perception of everyday security. For Australians, this wasn't distant violence, it was personal, immediate, and deeply unsettling. Which brings us to the final and most difficult reality. This attack has reignited urgent conversations about extremism, anti-Semitism, and early warning failures even in nations with strict firearms laws. Authorities are now examining how radical ideologies spread undetected and how prevention systems can be strengthened. Experts warn that complacency is dangerous, stressing that hatred often grows quietly before erupting publicly. The Bondi Beach shooting stands as a stark reminder that vigilance, education, and community protection must evolve constantly. The question now is not just how this happened, but how societies stop it from happening again. This story isn't just about one beach, one city, or one country. It's about how quickly peace can be shattered and how crucial awareness really is. If you value clear, factual, no-nonsense global reporting, support the work we do here. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Your engagement helps amplify stories that matter and keeps important conversations alive. Stay informed, stay aware, and stay connected. We'll continue bringing you the facts, straight, sharp, and without the noise.